I want a brown kid in the future making bands for being mediocre, like, for real.
Yeah, that's how you know you made it, honestly. It's like a socioeconomic group.
I mean, I don't want to be mediocre.
Of course.
I don't want to be mediocre. Y'all stay safe.
Hey everybody, this is DOST. I'm the host. My name is Rajit Salim, and I'm here with the dreamy R&B queen, REHMA.
Hello, y'all. Oh, I don't know where to look. Which camera?
This is your camera, right?
This camera?
Yes.
What's up, y'all? Hey, thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. It's really hot in LA today. Sweating a lot. But a good sweat, you know. You always like the vitamin D.
So do you like living in LA?
That's a good question. I technically just moved here.
Gotcha.
Because I was in Berkeley, like I told you before. I was going to school, finishing up 1 year. Most of my school years were online.
Really? Oh, yeah.
COVID, yeah. So after being online, we only had 1 year left. So I was like, you know what? Let me slam out this year. So I've officially moved back to LA like literally last month.
Fire.
Otherwise, I've been traveling back and forth. But I've done a pretty good job at that because everyone thought I was living in LA.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I just kind of go ghost for a little and then come back when I feel like it.
That's fire. And so you're at Berkeley. What were you studying?
I was studying sociology.
Gotcha.
I had like a focus in music and like media studies.
Mm-hmm.
But most of sociology is just kind of like understanding the problems of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And music was always it for you, though.
Yeah. Music is like something I've been doing since I was a kid. Pretty much the only thing I'm decent at. So.
Where did it start?
Where did like the music start?
Yeah, like what was like your interest in music, and then like how did you fall into it?
Dead ass. It was like Pop Star Wii Karaoke.
Really?
Yeah, like on Wii, there's like this karaoke game called Pop Star Karaoke,
Yeah.
and I would just sing it in front of the TV all the time when I was a kid, and that's what made me want to be like a musician. I started singing when I was like 2, because like my mom would always play like really singy singers like Whitney, Celine, Mariah, you know, the goats. So I would just like start singing a lot as a kid, and then I started like kind of transforming how I felt about it and wanted to like actually be a singer when I was playing Pop Star Karaoke.
Yeah.
And then my parents found out that I can sing when we were like in Wisconsin Dells at like this water park with my family. There was a karaoke like restaurant that was happening, and I just like went up and sang My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. And then my mom was like, oh shit, this bitch can sing. So that's when I was like, oh, I want to do this actually.
And
They just throw me up on like any stage to like sing.
oh wow, so how old were you at that time?
I was 8.
And so your parents knew this, and they like helped foster that too? No way?
In a way, they really did. I mean, obviously there's always a little bit of like, you want to be a singer? Like,
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, was it like a pretty desi household?
Yeah. No, I grew up in like a pretty traditional desi household, I'd say.
Mhm.
But, you know, as you grow up, your parents kind of grow up and
Yeah.
things like kind of change. But they always encouraged me to like, at family parties or like weddings, like I would be the one that they like throw up on stage to like sing a song, like sing for us. And I'd be like, okay.
Like
So that helped.
that's like the jump you're making, right? Because I think these people are so inherently creative in
Yeah.
film, music, art, dance. But I think when you're first gen and your parents sacrificed so much to get here, and they're like, yes, like enjoy it, play with it. But then when it becomes a career, let's go, whoa, slow down.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming for you, tell me if I'm wrong, once you started having like your wins, were your parents like more there for you?
Even when I wasn't having my wins, like when there was times where I would like perform on stage and I feel like I didn't do good, they'd be like, well, the next one, like, you know, like you'll get better like with time. My dad especially, like he would encourage it like that, but my mom was always like, she was critical in like the most honest, best way. She'd be like, well, you know, next time fix this or feel more confident, like, you know what I mean, like critical in a way where like it was for my benefit. And I feel like she kind of taught me what it means to like just stand on stage and just be proud of like the fact that you're like a woman and like, you know, stunting your shit, like enjoy that shit. Yeah.
Are you close with her?
Dude, my mom's like my bestie. I love her. Also, she like gave birth to like 2 of my favorite people in the world, which are my siblings. My other sister's been my like intern manager, and Rumsha's my stylist. Shout out.
Oh, so it's a family business.
It's a little family project, if you know what I mean. Yeah, but you know, it's always expanding, so it's cool.
Yeah. So like, what was the moment where you're like, hey, I'm gonna like lay down my first song? Because you were in, I'm assuming, college at the time, or
No, I was 14.
wow.
I was like 14 and I put a song out on SoundCloud. Yeah, it was called Sane,
Mhm.
and I did it live on the piano, and it's still up there. Don't look at it. Don't look at it, y'all. Please don't search it up.
And play it.
No, don't look. It's on SoundCloud, and after that, I was just putting music out on SoundCloud until I was like 15, 16.
Gotcha. I think when we first talked, you're telling me about how like the music you make about going to like after parties and stuff like that.
Yeah, like girl, I wasn't even going to any after parties. You were 14, like relax. But it was lit because I was able to write from a perspective that I hadn't experienced yet. I just knew from like the ears, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, imagine once I actually experience these things, how good that pen's about to be is getting even better with time and experience. So that's good.
I mean, like your first, like you're in your Mercy area that you're about to close right now, and like I love that, and a lot of that was about like self discovery and love, and you touched on how like there's some real shit behind it, and so like when you're entering that era, what like were you going through, and like what kind of led you into it?
Well, what led me into that era was exactly what you said, like self-discovery, like figuring out where I want to go in the music and what I want to write about. At the time, I was listening to a lot of SZA, Janae Aiko, my girl Ari. I love her. So I was just listening to a lot of like that kind of R&B world, and I think that emulated really well. Like in the Mercy Project, you can see those direct sources of inspiration, and they were just very like SZA's like a very honest writer. Janae had a lot of like the cool, soulful, like, you know, harmonies and energy that I liked. But for me, like personally, why I wanted to write about those things was because at the time, not a lot of brown women were talking about things very honestly, like in music, like very few at least. And like it's either like we're making like very like, you know, things that are like direct odes to our culture and stuff like that. But I just wasn't hearing a lot of people talk about like, you know, like, I know y'all be fucking, like, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we want the next Justin Bieber to be brown, not because he's brown, but he's talented and happens to be. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's fire.
Yeah. It was cool because it was like a lot of young girls relating to it. I mean, most of my demographic is like young South Asian girls, just young girls in general, not just South Asian, but just young women who want something to like relate to, you know? Yeah. So I was just writing from my perspective, and I guess those people resonated with it.
No, absolutely. I think even for me, I resonated with it.
Slay.
Yeah. I mean, no, like, seriously though, it's like I saw when I was like, you know, scrolling on YouTube, TikTok, whatever it may be, seeing like a brown girl talking about her experience. And it's not like peddling culture, it's just who she is and her culture informs her. Like, that was special. Because I think,
thank you.
Seriously, because like I want like the 15, 16, 17-year-old like brown could be like, oh yeah, no, I do all this stuff too.
Yeah.
But I have to hide it. I'm scared to show the world I'm like this. And I think you being on that stage and letting people through the screen be like, no, I'm here. There's kids like you. And now we're in the screen. Now we're on stage.
Yo, thanks. Yeah. Damn, it's deep. Oh, yeah. Like, I remember being on a podcast earlier, and I think I said something like, oh, I was sneaking out all the time to see men. Yeah. And people were in the comments are like, how is this bitch alive? And I'm like, that's the thing. Like, your parents know too, you know? Like, they know you're going to make mistakes, and, like, they won't always be, like, forgiving maybe. Everyone has different relationships with their parents, but the reality is you're not alone, you know? Like, everyone's going through the same motions of, like, you know, navigating this culture in America and also just being in America. Like, it's weird. It's fun.
I think at first, like, maybe, like, the older millennials, right, that are desi, they're, like, they felt like they had to choose between cultures. And in reality, we have something really cool to offer.
That's true.
Where people, I think, want to tap into us. And the way, like think, like, you're scared to have, like, your friend to come over because it might smell. Or, like, a wedding because you're scared that they're going to judge your culture, when in reality, it's just you. Because I know when my friends come to that wedding, they're like, why didn't you tell me to come? Yeah. Why didn't you tell me about this music? This goes hard.
Yeah.
And I think what we have to do, and what you're doing, right, is making brown kids feel sexy. And when they play your music, no, I rock with this. And they see that, and everyone's gonna rock with you because of that.
Oh, you know? Shit. I'm making people feel fire. I love that. That's exactly what I want to do. I just want to, like, make people feel like you're fire. Like, enjoy your shit. Enjoy where you come from. Like, enjoy us. Like, all of us are dope ass people with like dope ass ideas. It's only gonna get bigger and better. Like this is just the beginning too. Like it's expanding. Like our community's expanding. We're making so much room. We're taking up space to make more room for everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes when like communities are being fostered, there does like, especially in like when you're first beginning to foster a community, there does become like these aspects of like exclusion and like not always letting everybody in the mix. You know what I mean? But I feel like that's not gonna happen with like our generation, hopefully, and like with our community. I hope that it's like we're gonna welcome like every type of person in our community and every like different aspect of them. Like I just want it to be so like freeing for them, and just like I want to leave behind something that like, you know, like people are like, damn, if REHMA'S like a queer brown girl and you know she didn't give a shit, like I hope I can do that too. You know what I mean? Like just do what you want.
Well, that's creating culture, right? There's a difference between being a part of something and creating something.
Damn, I don't think I created that part. But I'm a part of it. I'm a part of it.
Yeah, you're a part of it.
I'm a part of the creation. How about that?
Exactly. But like just being you on your stage is doing that. And
dude, yeah.
And like first generation kids, like they're not galvanized in that way. And the beauty and the superpower of our community is that since we're first generation, we're a part of every other group.
So like, true, yeah.
And all we have to do is just welcome people and just be there. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Just hold space for them. Yeah, that's really it.
But you're a big manifester too, right?
I really am. Like, I don't know if you can tell with my sparkly ass outfit.
Yeah. Are you like, I remember like in one of your songs, I think it's like, I'm dreaming of like where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dang, you quite literally manifested that and you're doing shows and doing your thing.
Yeah.
Are you like a very spiritual person?
I think so, yeah. Like I try not to be like that cringy spiritual guy, but I really am. Like I enjoy putting things out into the world and seeing it come to life. And I think that's just the part of spirituality that is inherent. Like, everything you want is in you already. Yeah. And I say this all the time, but, like, understanding yourself is, like, understanding the world. Yeah. You know? So I just think, like, everything's a projection. So I'm always about, like, manifesting, you know? 'Cause
you got to, though. Or were you religious growing up?
I was, yeah. I was very religious growing up. But I think I kind of moved away from organized religion in general. Yeah. Because it just wasn't resonating with me at the time. But who knows? Like, I could always find my way back to it. I feel like religion is always, like, a very internal discussion for me. Like, I don't really like to, like, be like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. Yeah. Even with spirituality. Oh, I'm spiritual. I don't know, you know? Yeah. It's always changing.
Oh, what religion did you grow up as?
I grew up Muslim.
Me too. Gotcha. I went the same way. It's more so, you have this organized religion, and then you start looking beyond that and realizing that maybe morality isn't held by like a book or a standard, but by you. Yeah. I think walking out of that kind of reshapes the way you think.
Yeah, and I think like, even for example, like people grew up always saying like, oh, Allah is the creator, for example. Yeah. I agree. Like, you know, like your creator is whoever, like there is a bigger force. Yeah. So it's just one of those things for me. Like, if there's a bigger force, however you interpret it, doesn't matter. Like, it's up to you to interpret it the way you want. Yeah. And if it aligns with your morality, then it's fine, right? Mm-hmm. Works out. I still align with my morality, like, regardless of what I believe in. So.
Exactly. Gotcha. And were you, like, in high school, like, college, and you kind of stepped away from it? And did you get any flack for it? Or is it something very personal and to you, more internal?
It's something very internal. Like, I don't think there was ever a time where I was like, I'm deciding to stop believing something. Yeah. Because I never did. I never stopped believing anything. Yeah. To believe... You know what I mean? Yeah. This is a philosophical thing for sure. It's like, I believe everything. Mm-hmm. If I believe something isn't true, that isn't true. Yeah. You know? Anything is possible. Everything could be true. Exactly. But everything could also be untrue. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the type to be like finite and like cut it off or like that. No, it was never like that. It was a very internal thing where like, oh, maybe I don't practice this as much anymore. That doesn't mean I don't believe in it or don't respect it. I just don't practice it.
Mm-hmm. And so nothing's like binary to you.
Nothing is binary. I'm queer. Nothing is binary.
Nothing's binary. Not religion, not sex. Everything we're open for.
No, for real. Because queer is like an embodiment. It's about like destroying those standards. Because a lot of these things are like things that we're socialized to. Mm-hmm. Social media coming in, but you know, queerness is like an embodiment. I believe it in every aspect of life. Like nothing is finite. Nothing has to be one or the other. You know.
Was that a journey you had to have, or was that something easier for you to walk into?
It was like something that I felt like I was always supposed to be.
Yeah.
I always felt like I was like a free spirit as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I always like very like everybody should be allowed to do what they want.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't hurt anyone, do what you want, you know?
That's fine. And so it was never like, oh, I'm scared. Like, no, that's me.
No. It was never scared. It was always like, Rahma, you gotta be confident if you want people to believe you, you know?
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you get that from your mom?
Oh, 100%. When she's in her like era where she wants to be confident, like she's like a Cancer moon, you know? She wants to be like in her little bubble, but when she's like with her friends, she's the funniest one in the room. Like, I'm not kidding. She's
Awesome.
She's that bitch, yeah.
What star sign are you?
I'm an Aries.
Aries. What is that exactly? Educate me a bit.
I mean, it's not necessarily that I'm an Aries, that's all I am, because I'm also a Leo rising and a Libra moon. So, I don't know. A lot of people, when I tell them that, they're like, oh, damn, like, you can step on people. And I was like, no, I promise. I promise I don't want to step on anyone. Like, I think it just means I'm, like, passionate.
Gotcha. I mean...
Passionate and balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Grounded with a lot of the earth signs in my chart. Do you know anything about your chart?
I'm just an Aquarius.
You just know that you're an Aquarius.
I've been told it's like a very freeing person, but also a red flag.
Well, also I think you're resonating with my free spirit because you're an Aquarius, probably. You're probably like, oh, like I like, you know. I want to know your rising, though.
I think it's Aries. I've heard. I think it's Aries. I looked it up and I put like, I went to this little thing. It's like, okay, Aquarius and then Aries.
You could totally be an Aries rising.
What makes I don't even know the difference between like the risings and the suns. It's
sometimes people tell you like your rising can emulate on your facial features, and I'm looking at your facial features and I'm like, maybe you could be an Aries rising.
What?
Yeah, maybe.
Do I look like an Aries rising? That's interesting. Do you know where like that came from? Like, is there a science to it?
I'll be dead ass with you. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So just ignore that.
It's just vibes.
I mean, literally, like, I'm not an astrology pro. I research it a lot and I read about it a lot, but I don't consider myself someone who can be like, oh, you're this. This is why you're like this.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. I'll just tell you, Aries, Leo, Libra for me. I'm passionate. Aquarius, you guys are vibes. I like you guys.
Cool, yeah.
Air signs, fire.
Air sign, we vibing. We vibing out here.
We vibing.
But you're from Chicago, right?
Yes. I was born in Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been all over.
Wow.
I was born in Houston, and then I was raised mostly in, like, Chicago and suburbs. And then I moved to Southern California, like, 7 years ago, and then I went to Northern California for school, and now I'm here.
Wow.
Maybe I'll go to New York next.
You got to. That's where we're located at.
Oh, sure. I gotta go,
You gotta come through. Did you like being in Chicago? Is that like a city, like your city for you, or do you feel?
Have you been to Chicago?
I've like been through it a little bit. I haven't like experienced.
Okay, so as a New Yorker, I need you to pull up to Chicago and tell me what you think of it. A lot of people think that Chicago is the cooler New York.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. Everyone's gonna kill me.
The comments.
No, but I hear a lot of people from LA be like, dude, I love Chicago people. Like, I love Chicago people because I think New York's people are closer to, like, LA people in the sense of, like, thinking.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I don't think, like, Chicago people think, like, how LA or New York people think, but they kind of have the same vibe.
Mm-hmm. What's that big city, like, metropolitan?
Yeah, the metropolitan vibe, but, like, I think Chicago people are just more, like, homey.
Yeah.
They're also just in the middle of fucking nowhere, bro. Like,
they're the only, like, big piece of population in that, like, 1,000-mile radius. Like, no one else is there.
Yeah. It's a bubble, I'd say. No, it's not a bubble. It's very diverse and different. But I don't know. I love Chicago.
Yeah. Was it, like, a very diverse place growing up, too, like, for you? Like, did you grow up in a community, or were you just...
I'll be honest with you. Like, it was diverse, but not a lot of people, like, mixed together, you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like, it was just, like, yeah, it was diverse, but... You know, the brown kids hung out with the brown kids, like, you know. Like,
what kind of kid were you? Were you like a floater? Did you hang out with the brown kids or only the white kids?
I was a floater, definitely, like, throughout my entire life because I moved so much.
Mm-hmm.
I had, like, so many different friend groups. There was a time where, like, I was friends with a couple white people, and it was, like, a very bad experience for me as a kid.
Really?
But when you're in the west suburbs of Chicago, like, when you're a kid, my age, you're going to get bullied.
Really? You got bullied?
Yeah, but, like, I don't... Yeah, bullying is like a very, very underlying thing that happens to kids of color, I feel like. It's not as obvious as it used to be, I feel like. Yeah. It's like very like under the rug, like, oh, I didn't even see that was racist.
Yeah.
You know?
Like you feel, and like, have you ever like, you go to like some sort of place, maybe a club, a bar, or any like room, and like you don't want to think of it inside, you're like, are they being like acting a little bit different because I'm here? Like,
yeah. 100%. Especially if you're in a room full of all white people. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when you're younger, you don't really know how to, like, dress yourself up too well.
Yeah.
Like, people just, like, don't want to, like, take you seriously when you're in a room. It's weird.
No, I feel that. I felt that. I think what beauty I felt of moving to, like, a big city like New York, even like LA to extent, like, when you grow up in, like, a suburban town, like I think we both did, it's like you dress a certain way and you feel like you're having to fit in, and maybe like you're not trying to, but just like it trickles into you.
Yeah.
And then you go to like a big city and everyone's dressed crazy. The currency is being yourself.
So true.
And I think that's such an empowering thing to get into, because you look at the mirror and you're like, okay, I'm not like everybody, I'm me, and people like that.
Exactly.
And I think that fitting in thing that we all try to do in the beginning, like, and it's because of those little microaggressions and that little feeling inside.
Yeah, it traumatizes you. It makes it feel harder to express yourself and navigate who you are, which isn't fair because it's like, no offense, but non people of color, white people.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be as respectful as possible, but like white people can be mediocre.
Yeah.
Like white people can be mediocre and make mediocre art and still be praised for it.
That's funny. We have this joke too. It's like, brown people, we need to strive for mediocrity. Once we can we have to be perfect now, right? We have to just get so good at what we do that in the future now a kid can just make like...
Yeah, like...
That's the type of privilege.
I want a brown kid in the future making bands for being mediocre, like, for real.
Yeah, that's how you know you made it, honestly. It's like a socioeconomic group, you know?
Like, yeah, you can be mediocre. If everybody else can be mediocre, why can't I?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, I don't want to be mediocre.
Of course.
I don't want to be mediocre. Y'all stay safe. But the rest of y'all can definitely do it.
We all want to make bags in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So do you... did you have a like hard time converting into like the LA scene or LA culture, or just West Coast in general?
No, I think like LA's is yes and no. Like I'm adjusting to like moving in general. Like I moved to Berkeley and I was like, fuck, like I have to adjust to this, and now I moved back to LA. It's the moving part that's adjusting, but the city itself, I don't really care about like adjusting to the people here.
Gotcha.
I feel like everybody is going to think a certain way, feel a certain way, but you just have to like stay true to your own mind, you know?
What was like the moment for you in music where like, it can be my career, this can be my future?
Probably when I put out my first project.
Gotcha.
Because like, I didn't consider myself like a real artist until I put out like the Mercy project. And when I debuted, it took me like, 3 years to shape myself to like debut, like basically be ready to like present myself as an artist to people.
And you're really good at branding. Was your sister and your manager really like involved in creating that for you within those 3 years?
No, definitely. Yeah. They helped with a lot of like the creative direction, production, and just making sure that I'm happy. And I like what I'm putting out.
That's awesome.
As well as Hasib, who helped me produce the Mercy project. Shout out Few Friends. We run that independent label, so yeah, it was just about what it means to build an artist from like the ground up, you know, like because Lavender was from scratch, like it did well. So.
And you made that while you're in college, right? Where did you make it? Did you have a studio, a dorm?
In my closet.
Really?
Yeah, because I had like a little piano and like studio set up in my mom's closet actually, and I would just like record, like track vocals in there. So I wrote it in there, but then I tracked it in a real studio. I think I tracked it at my engineer Corey's studio.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
And like at that time, it was just like off love, like you guys are making something.
Yeah.
Right?
Pure vibes.
Pure vibes. And when you released that, and now you're here and you're trying to develop, like, what's next for you?
Good question. So I would love to put out another short project. I don't know if I'm ready to necessarily finish an album yet. Yeah. The reason why I'm not ready to finish an album is because I don't know if I want to tell the whole story yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to make y'all wait. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's not anything deep. It's just like, I think I'll be ready for an album after like maybe 1 more or 2 more EPs that I want to put out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you guys have an independent record label?
Yeah, well, I'm part of I put everything I've put out so far under a Few Friends. Okay. So I plan on like continuing to like foster and help that label and like keep going with it because I love it. Obviously, I grew on that label, so yeah.
What was the story of that label?
Well, Hasib was freshly I think he had just graduated, so he jumpstarted that label, a few friends, and all it means is, like, it's just a few friends working together. Because that's literally what it is. Like, I got my family, my friends, everyone who helped with the cover art to the music videos, just literally favors from friends. Like, just figuring out the team, and, like, it was just a few friends. So that's where, like, few friends originates from. Also with Hasib, like, all his people are just people he grew up in the scene with, you know what I mean?
And are you the debut artist of that?
Technically, Hasib is, because he also puts his music out under his own label. But, yeah, I'm the debut artist after.
Gotcha. And is there anyone else, or is it still the few friends?
It's, we plan on expanding.
Gotcha.
We plan on expanding.
I want to reel back into, like, Mercy, because I know you talked a lot about sounded like a breakup. Do you mind jumping into that?
No. I don't care. I'll expose that, man.
Do it. Let's hear it. Let's get the tea.
Well, what do you want to know?
I mean, where did it start? I mean, tell me, where do you want to start it?
Well, it wasn't like anything. It was like I would say it was a very childlike love. I was in high school when I started dating that person. It was like 3 years, I believe. Like
first love?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No. I don't know if anyone deserves, like, the first of anything, you know?
Really?
I'll have this equal amount of love for everyone. I think, like, he was just, like, a person I dated, like, when I was, like, 17, and the relationship kind of just went on until I was, like, 20, I believe. So it was, like, on and off. Right when I released the Mercy project, I was, like, fully done with that person.
Really?
Maybe I'm lying. Was I fully done with that? Yeah, I was fully done. It was, like, before the pandemic, yeah.
Was that cathartic, though, to, like, I'm assuming process all of that through that album?
I feel like I was just a young person going through all the motions, like, getting cheated on, finding out that they go to someone else, you know what I mean? Like, it's just all that, like, fire building up in you. When it's out in the art, it's like, damn, I wish I could say that. You know what I mean?
And, well, so you got cheated on, essentially.
Yeah. I mean,
how'd you find out?
Who hasn't? Let's be honest.
How'd you find out?
Oh, it was the worst. I think I found out, like, on the phone or something. Like, I found out on their phone. I was, like, looking. Because I was, like, doing a quiz, I believe, for, like, a school quiz or something. And then I, like, turned. And I'm like, yo, can I borrow your phone? I'm like, I want to cheat on this quiz. Sorry. I want to cheat on this quiz. Because, you know, it's fucking online. Everyone cheats on online quizzes. And I was like, can I borrow your phone? I want to cheat on this quiz. And I'm looking for, like, basically I'm going into my, like, school website so I can see the courses and stuff so I can, like, use it and, like, have two phones at once, you know, basically. And then I see that this person gets, like, a TikTok message.
TikTok message?
Oh, no. I'm really exposing this man, but, like, he was cheating on me through the TikTok.
Oh, no.
It was funny, though.
Was it a TikToker, too, or?
No, it's just some random.
On some sneaky shit. Like,
on some sneaky shit. And it wasn't just one girl, so.
No?
No.
And so, the phone's in your hand, you see this, you're like, yo.
Oh, no. I literally was like, what the fuck is this? And this man looks at me, he's like, what do you mean? Like, that's not even, I didn't do that. And I'm like, I literally was mute. I was mute. You know when you're so angry, you get quiet?
Yeah.
I was, like, mute. And I asked him to drop me home. I was quiet all the way until I got home. Literally mute. Like, not said a word. Didn't cause a scene. Quiet all the way till I got home. Blocked him on everything. Never spoke to him again.
Wow. And you're like, and fuck it, I'm gonna make a whole EP about it.
Like, I'm gonna drag your ass.
Drag your ass.
But it was lit.
Yeah.
It was lit. I felt really proud of myself. Yeah.
What's it like getting that, like, reception after the fact? Now, like, hearing those stories from other people, like, yo, I get it.
It's crazy. You know what? It's like I dropped this, like, as an independent artist, right? So for that to be my first project and like just getting that much recognition and feedback for my first thing I've ever put out, I don't think a lot of kids can say that.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of, like, brown artists can say that. So I feel like I did it right for what I was at the moment. And that's all that matters. And I'm really thankful for people just, like, taking it so organically. Like, they actually just loved it, you know? Like, they were like, yo, you're doing cool stuff. And I was like, really? Thanks.
Awesome. And you made a few music videos, so it was like the process of getting that for the first time. Because I'm assuming that's a whole other experience that you had to
No,
learn
literally, yeah. I was like, I've never like done a music video like this. It's just Hit List was crazy because I've never seen that many people come together for like a music video. It was just really cool. It was like serious, you know? Like, damn, I'm an artist. Like, I love this.
Like, does that recharge you in a way, or?
It does. It does. Because honestly, like, I'm that kind of person, like, I'm gonna look I'm gonna look fly regardless, you know? Like, I'm gonna look cool. But when you see it on camera and you see yourself look cool, it's like a different thing. You're like, ooh, I look cool, like, to other people, you know?
And then you did another music video that I thought was incredible. You did a song collaboration with Ladke. That music video is fire and awesome.
Me and Shreya did not know it was gonna fucking blow up like that.
Really?
Like, we knew it was gonna, like, turn some heads.
Yeah.
But we didn't know, like, it was gonna be so cool. Like, it was like a little movement.
It is a movement.
It's like a little movement. We all hate men together.
It was a big middle finger to toxic brown guys, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was just really cool. Like,
it was, and I mean, it's for the community though. Like, seeing that and being like, yeah, these are these two cool, sexy brown girls, and we're fucking tired of your guys' shit. Like, let's make an anthem. You guys created an anthem.
We did create an anthem. Yeah, it was fire. It was like one of those things where we're like calling out real shit though. Like, why do we have to be like always worried about and self-improving and like getting, as women, like always trying to be the best for people who do the bare minimum. Yeah. Like, you guys get your laundry done by you guys are still mama's boys. Yeah. Like, you still don't even pay for things. You know what I mean? Like, I got my life together. You don't. Like. Yeah.
And that's like a unique thing I think a lot of like Christian girls go through too. Like, the guys, like, I know, like, we get babied. I know a lot of brothers and sisters who are they get away with everything. And meanwhile, the sisters like working, like building the career, and they're not even getting any credit for it.
Exactly.
And so like, that's why I love that video so much. It's like, no, we out here. We're doing the thing.
We out here, yeah. And you know what's crazy? The taxi scene?
Yeah.
Bro, that shit was crazy. Like,
what's the story behind that?
It's just crazy that we were able to pull that off. Like, that was crazy.
Did you just like knock on like the taxi guys' like company, like, yo, can you do a scene here? Or?
Let's just say Priya, the woman who directed, she, in New York, you just know people.
Yeah.
You just know people, and I think she just knew a guy. Like, so she was like, yo, we're gonna go to this taxi place. We need to get a shot there. Like, and I was like, okay, I'm down. So it ended up being my scene, like, where I was like, where I enter, and I was like, this is insane. Like, this is so, like, I've never seen this before. Also, my parents they've driven like Lyfts, Ubers, like, you know, the immigrant parents, like, they go through this trials and errors of like, you know, oh, I drove taxis, I did this to like make my life in America. It was really cool to see a full circle and us like owning that shit and just like,
it was tasteful. It was really tasteful.
It was subtle. It was cool, and it was like, there's nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely.
It's just fire. Like, it's just fun. Yeah.
How did that song start? Like, where was like, did you guys start within DMs? Like, yo, like.
We started in the DMs. She I think she followed me on TikTok, and she was like, yo, I really like what you're doing. Would you be down if we made a song together? And I was like, yeah, dude, like, whatever you want me to hop on, like, I'm here. Like, let me know. And she was working on this song, Ladke, and she only had the hook, I believe, or something. Or she sent me, like, a demo of, like, Ladke, and she was like, would you feel comfortable on a song like this? And I was like, honestly, I don't sing in like fusion, like I've never done that, but I'm down to like hop on this and be a part of it. Like, I love this, like, this is sick. And I was like, girl, this is a bop, like, wait till I add my bars, like, hold on. So me and her, like, I think I did like one pass of a verse, and then we worked on one together, and we liked the second one, so we finished it. I recorded it on my own with my friend Saad. He's another artist. But yeah, I just recorded it with him, and then I sent it back to her. She's like, oh my God, this is going to be fire. So then, yeah. And then she came to LA. We did a few things for it, like preparing the release and stuff. And then we went to New York for the music video. It was fun.
Yeah. What was the reception like after tapping into that, like, sort of that community with your music?
Oh, it was crazy, dude. they ride hard for fusion shit.
Yeah, they do.
They love fusion
They ride
stuff.
hard.
Like, it was kind of dope.
Mhm.
It was dope. It was like one of those things where I'm like, damn, like, I have never seen so many people come together for like a song like this. Like, we're really dragging men, and like, this is not normal in our culture.
Yeah.
It's not normal. I remember, I think it was like Curtis
Mhm.
who said, he was like, oh my God, I just heard a brown girl say dick. Like, like, I just heard a brown girl say dick in a song. And I was like, yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
I'm the first.
I am the first.
Big dick.
I hope not. I really hope not. Honestly, I might be the first.
The first brown girl to ever say dick on camera.
Oh, no. Probably not.
It's also interesting how, like, in a way, TikTok brought this whole like, community together too. Have you noticed? Is like your algorithm like that, where like all of us kind of like started reaching each other and created this community?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny because I remember that I was working with this producer from East London, and I think he's also South Asian. He is South Asian, yes. And he was like, it's crazy because, like, he's like, I swear, like, all you artists in LA are, like, tapped in with each other. And I was like, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We're tapped in. Yeah, he's like, yeah, but, like, you know, like, what is it like? Like, you know, I'm sorry, my accent is horrible, but he's like, what is it like? How'd you all find each other? Like, do you guys just know each other, like, friends of friends? And I was like, I don't know how this happened, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how everybody knows each other.
Have you ever been to London?
No. Should I go?
I think your accent's really good. You might be able to fit in.
I don't think I'd be able to go.
Why not?
Because I personally am scared of Europe. Let me tell you why. They have castles. Like, they're the OG colonizers of the world. That's a little weird. Like, won't they treat you weird there?
I don't know.
I'm like, damn, look how bad it is in America. Imagine if you're in fucking Europe with those castles and shit, bro.
I think the castles are a key factor for you.
Like, yeah, they're beautiful, but like, damn.
You know what happened.
You know how you built those. Relax. No, I'm kidding.
Got there.
It's just scary.
Yeah.
But I know Europe is
Yeah.
a whole other, it's like its own.
Have you traveled outside of America?
Yeah, I've literally been to Europe.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. I was like, what did the Europe do?
They didn't do anything. No, I love Europe. I've been to Spain and Italy when I was like 11.
Mm-hmm.
I like those places. I like don't know if I would go to Europe other than for like music.
Yeah,
Because I would rather go to like Thailand or something.
that's fire.
I'd rather go to like Korea.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go to Korea.
Have you been in Asia or Southeast Asia? Gotcha. So have you ever been like back to your family's home?
No.
Really? Have you always wanted to, or?
Yeah.
Got
I would love to go back to Pakistan and like hang with the crew.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's crazy? I like worked with like Pakistani producer before I worked with any like American producer.
Really?
Dalal.
I'm not familiar.
Dalal Qureshi is like a Pakistani like pop EDM producer.
Wow.
I won't classify him to a genre, but great producer.
Yeah.
He's with Coke Studio now. Do you know what Coke Studio is? In Pakistan, Coke Studio is like a very great platform for like artists. Really crazy Pakistani artists go on there. Like some of my favorite, like Abdul Parveen, like I love Misha Shafi.
How's the music scene out there?
It's crazy. It's
Really?
crazy. There's a whole world in Asia that people don't even know about. But also like people know about it, you know? But
Yeah.
it just doesn't really intersect with like American industry that much,
Mhm.
but it's getting there.
Yeah, and it's like beginning to cross pollinate, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like your stuff is being played in like Spotify, Pakistan's like stuff, right?
Yeah.
What was that? Did they approach you, or did it just pop up in your feed like, yo, what?
They literally, they just posted a picture, I think, one day on the Ingrezi Indie playlist.
Mhm.
They, like, fucking put me on the collaboration, like, post, and I just was like, yes? And then, I was like, oh, shit, I'm on the cover of a Spotify playlist. That's crazy.
And all you found out was just an Instagram notification.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Or, no. They emailed my management email. They were like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
can we have a picture of Rehma for the Spotify editorial playlist? I was like, me? And then I didn't really process it until I saw it on Instagram, and I was like, oh, damn, I'm on a playlist.
Did you like show your family that and like, yo, look?
Yeah. They were like, oh, nice.
And so, following your graduation and you come to LA, is music like your everything now?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I work, like, technically, like, I work,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of it is, like, social media work, doing freelance stuff like sync licensing.
Really?
Yeah, like, I think a lot of like an artist is never making all their income from just music. You know what I mean? That's a sad reality of being an artist in this world.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay us.
Yeah.
They know how powerful we are.
Mm-hmm.
They are underpaying you as an artist because they know that you transform the world. Yeah.
So you're a creative in other aspects too. So you're doing freelance in what other things specifically?
So freelance in the sense where I like do like sync licensing. Like
Okay.
my music goes
Yeah.
on like TV shows and stuff
That's
like
awesome.
that. Like, or I'm opening it to that now. So that's
Mhm.
kind of like how I'm planning
Mhm.
to just keep going with that.
And that's a really important thing to know because as a musician, like it's like being in the weeds and like being in every part of the details is really important. Is that something like you value? But let's say like a major like record label would come to you. Is that something you'd like think about, or would you rather stay independent in that sense?
Well, when a major label kind of approaches me, like I just kind of take it as it is. Like, oh, what are you offering? Like, what do you see in me that you can make bigger? You know what I mean? Like, but a lot of the times, like, things are being offered that I know I can do for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think I just want to keep being fruitful in this independent journey for now.
So you had these offers before. Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of artists get them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's right for them.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to keep going independent right now.
And when you like first get that on like your table, right? I'm sure one, it's like a validating, good feeling, but then you had to take your time to like wrap your head around it.
Mm-hmm.
And what parts specifically were like, you don't offer me enough? Like I can do better on my own.
Well, most times they want to own your masters. It's a little
Yeah.
scary, but I don't really care about like that specifically. I mean, I do, but it's like a lot of things. It's like a lot of like the idea of like a label possibly shelving you, like stuff like the fears are there, you know, like this is a corporate company trying to take over your art and like sell it for you.
Mhm.
And it's like it just feels so much realer for me to do it myself.
Yeah.
Like I think the only reason people have liked me thus far and appreciate what I do is because I did it by myself. Like I do all of this like as an independent artist. And that's the real part of it. It's like she's only being herself. She's selling it as herself. She's doing all this because she's REHMA. Like, you know, it's not because she has this label behind her or she works with these people. Like, it's never been like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm me, and that works. And if the label wants to invest in me, that's cool. It's not me investing in the label. You know what I mean?
What were some of your growing pains?
Growing pains.
Like, what were things that as you're developing your career, the ones that you love, but then there's things that like, maybe you had a hard time adjusting to, like as you grew?
Yeah, it's hard right now. I have like the post-grad blues, and I'm like, damn, like, you know, yeah, music full time, but it kind of was nice, like, having something on the side, like, knowing that I'm also learning something, you know? So, yeah, I plan on just, like, finding a way to invest in more things, and, like, I don't have much hobbies also outside of music.
Really?
Yeah, like, I skateboard sometimes.
Really?
No, people are always like, oh, what do you like to do outside of music? I'm like, this is my life. This is all I be doing.
When did you start skateboarding?
When I was younger, like 4th grade. I honestly started because I was trying to impress a boy. And it's so embarrassing because, like, I was so good at it.
Yeah.
I don't, like, downplay myself.
And so did you, like, skateboard in front of him? Or, like, oh, yeah, I skateboard? Or?
We never skateboarded in front of each other, no. He was, like, I was in 4th grade. You think I was allowed to hang out with boys? Girl,
Yeah,
no. No. Yeah, it was funny, though.
And you just did it, like, here and there going
Yeah. That's
awesome.
pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a moment where, like, this is the decision I'm making? Or were you like, no, this is always a part of it?
No, it's always been.
Gotcha. That's fire.
Maybe when I was, like, 14.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't, like, a real decision.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, okay, I'm just going to go with what I know.
Yeah. And who were, like, the people who kind of, like, helped you along the way most? Like, is there, like, a team you had?
Probably Rihanna, my older sister.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she was, like, the first person to record, like, me singing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she, like, did my first YouTube cover when I was, like, 10 years old. Like, she recorded it.
Mm-hmm.
She put it on YouTube for me. She didn't want to. My mom forced her because my mom didn't want me on the internet alone.
Really?
Yeah, but then I just kind of stuck with Rihanna through the years. I was like, Rihanna, can you come with me to this studio session? Like, Mama won't let me go alone.
That's awesome.
So it was like that. Like, Rihanna and I both just kind of learned with time.
So it's 3 sisters?
Yeah, and one little brother.
One little brother? How old is he?
He's, I think he's 18.
Gotcha.
Or he's turning 19.
And is he a creative too?
Yeah. I think he's more into, like, film.
Gotcha.
So that's fire. I think he's into it, but he's still, like, finding what works for him, but I think he's really good at film, so I think he might go into that.
So where do you think it all comes from? Because it sounds like all the people you're surrounded by growing up were creatives as well.
I think it comes from obviously being in a creative household because they're creative. Like, they're funny. Also, I think creativity is like, it can be fostered and built. I personally, because I'm a creative, I have just always what's the word? Magnet? I've always attracted other creative friends, you know? Like, even in high school, I only wanted to be around creative people, so.
I really appreciate you coming, and yeah, keep doing what you do. It means a lot to other people in our community, but also outside of it, you're making music that is killer, and the world's gonna love to hear.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to say to your camera? I think this is you right here.
Yeah, I'll say. This is bad. I don't know. Oh, okay. Understanding yourself is understanding the world. So make sure you know what you want to do so you can give that to the world, you know? Like, if you want to be an artist, make sure you fucking do that. I believe in you. I don't know who would be watching this, you know? So, like...
Hey, people.
Just believe in yourself and keep believing your work. Keep believing in your work. You got this.
Cool. Thank you.
All it takes is one look. We're starting again, already hooked. We're calling to when we could just feel. Mama told me that time will just heal. You could feel the rush when we touch. Now we ain't touching, but it's just as much. I'd be lying if I said I want you.